Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is another episode of the Hillbilly Think Tank with Elliot Spencer Keck. And it is November 8th. It is the opening day of deer season. That's where I've been all day long. Took off yesterday evening, made it to deer camp, got up fairly early in the morning, and spent the day in a deer blind. Had a lot of time to think and contemplate, but actually, um, was able to unplug for a bit, come back after harvesting a deer, getting some good, fresh quality meat, Kentucky style, and realize as I'm driving back home that America seems like it has a deer in the headlights look these days. You ever seen the deer in the headlights look? Just we're staring like we just really don't know what is going on, why and how this can be happening. That a car is headed straight to us and is about to hit us. Or some of us, sadly, we're being hit at this instant. The lower courts, one of the lower courts, had issued the Trump administration an injunction to fully fund SNAP benefits by Friday. Well, turns out the U.S. Supreme Court decided to temporarily override that and say no, it did not have to be done, that they don't have to be fully funded, and that this Trump administration can wait on an appeal because they've asked for an appeal. Isn't that just like great leadership? Let's see if we can keep from helping the poor folks out. Let's see if we can help not do what we want to do, what we need to do. We know that the working class poor are still starving. It's only getting worse. Food banks have higher than normal demand, and there's not enough folks with enough money to donate to these food banks. Now that we're in a government shutdown, people that normally would be donating, such as government employees, military members, they're the ones now having to go out and ask for food from the food bank. This is not my America. This cannot abide. We cannot keep on treating each other with so little regard just because some people don't make more than $7.25 an hour, $8.50 an hour, $10 an hour. You can make more than the minimum wage, and yet if you have a sizable family, you're still going to be eligible for SNAP. There are E4s and E5s in the military who qualify for SNAP. They've got kids that won't get enough nutritious food if they don't have SNAP benefits. That's when the military is being funded. Now that the military is not being funded and you're cutting SNAP, you're starving U.S. troops willfully. Now, I already said, this is not the type of servant leadership that I look for in my leaders and that I will be, I promise, if you elect me to be a magistrate in Hardin County's 3rd District. I will look after all citizens, not just the rich, not just the middle class, and not just the poor. We're all in this together. We'll all work on our things together that we need to, but we can't go and pretend like one section of our economy is dispensable and act like only billionaires and millionaires are indispensable. No, we're all in this together. This is a democracy. In a democracy, there is no one that is dispensable. No law abiding citizen should be treated in this manner. Nobody who's working their tail off every single day should go home and find out they don't have SNAP benefits to buy food for their kids. Because we know that low paying job is going to barely pay the rent, it's going to barely pay for utilities, it's going to barely pay for car insurance, going to barely pay for the gas you need to get to work. But Lord forbid you should need some SNAP benefits as a working class hero in America, because that's who my heroes are, the working class folks who roll up their sleeves every day, go to work, come back home, take care of their kids. That's what it means to be a good law abiding citizen. And you can't tell someone if they're doing what you want them to do, which is to work hard, that they shouldn't be able to feed their kids. All right. I don't care what job you do in America. If it's a law abiding job and you're being paid for your job, you shouldn't have to watch your kids starve at night, especially not when you're watching the leaders in this country party in Mar-a-Lago on Halloween at the tune of $4.3 million while you're starving and while the government is shut down. It doesn't matter to our illustrious leader that the government shut down. His grift just keeps on grifting. All right. Wake up, open your eyes. He is grifting off of us. And again, a real leader would not let his enlisted military folks nor his officers go without pay, but especially would not let the enlisted folks go without food. All right, because they're living paycheck to paycheck as it is, even when the government's open. But these of us that serve or have served, and that now we need to have food stamps to watch a leader eat caviar, party with strippers on Halloween while we're sitting out here starving is unacceptable. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is, how far we get into this. And I'm not going to stop talking about it until I see that everybody in America is eating again, that no one's worrying about not being able to feed their kids every day of the week. And especially with Thanksgiving coming up and Christmas coming up, shouldn't be any kids starving and not getting a good meal. No, not in the America that I know. And that's not the leadership that I've come to expect after serving in the military with some of the best leaders I've ever known and also some of the worst. And I learned from the best how to be great and how to be even better than I am and was. And I learned from the worst what not to do. And being self centered is not how to be a great leader. And that's all I'm seeing is self centeredness. When you party at the tune of $4.3 million, play golf in Mar-a-Lago, eat caviar, let strippers run around your resort while you have people in the military. Their military pay is not on, their SNAP benefits are not on, they're starving, their kids are starving. We know something's gone wrong, and you can't blame it on one political party when you've got one rich person surrounded by many other rich people not giving a hoot about other Americans, but they're getting theirs. All right, y'all, let's remember we are all in this together. We do love our neighbors just as much as we love ourselves. So we know that we are our brother's keeper, we're our sister's keeper. And I just hope that you have a good Veterans Day weekend, as long as you know your heart's in the right place and that you're doing everything you can to get these fools to treat us better. Bless your corazon. Have a great Veterans Day weekend. I'm going to go hang out with my other veteran buddies and brothers. Have a good one.